A new year begins and a new voice rises. Spirit 94.3, KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, and on the web at spiritradio.fm. Spirit 94.3.
There's some video that popped up of him, like in Washington. I thought it was new, and it said the President of the United States, and he was talking about some pretty important things. And then, Pastor, I looked, and it was from 2022. The algorithm has made its way back.
Well, you can always find him at the sidelines of any Texas football game.
That's him. When we lived in Georgetown, his mother, they called her K-Mac.
Oh, yeah.
And she lived in Georgetown. And I had a taxi business. Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
And one day, this was before Uber and Lyft put us out of the taxi business. Let's just say that.
Man.
But one day we get a call. It's from K-Mac. And she said, I need a ride down to Austin to see my granddaughter because she was in some school play or something.
Wow.
And so my buddy at the time that had the business with me, he went over and picked her up and took her down to Austin. He called me so ecstatic. He goes, man, you're never going to guess who was there. I said, who? He goes, it's just like the movies. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, her son was there. Matthew was there.
Wow.
And he goes, when I pulled up, he literally looked at me and he goes, thanks for taking care of my mama, man. And I was like, yes.
There it is. His claim to fame right there.
I didn't get
His
to meet
brush
him.
with greatness.
Yeah. I thought when he rolled up, he was going to be like, all right. You got her here safe. Hey, we are here. Welcome in, everybody, as we get hopping and rolling on a very thankful Thursday. This program is made possible in part by Elliott's Jewelers, online at elliotsjewelers.com, and also First Baptist Church Huntsville, their website, fbchuntsville.org. As always, we're joined by Pastor Jason Bay, one of my favorite days of the week here with Brother Bay. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Rob. I'm glad to be here, too.
We needed kind of a post midweek boost, and we're going to get it this morning.
I hope so.
That's a long sentence. Post midweek boost. Yeah, boost. I'm out of it, man. We're up here hanging TVs at the church, and man, yesterday I was like missing some nail holes or screw holes, and I said I'm gonna patch this up, and then I need to get up here early so when Jason comes in, I'm gonna be like, hey, don't worry, the wall's not coming. The Jericho walls aren't coming down.
I ain't worried about it. I saw y'all's car up here last night. I was doing my upwards basketball practice. You know, we need all the practice we can get, and we were up here, and I've been kind of under the weather this week and haven't been feeling good. So, but I came up here and practiced anyway, and I saw you over here grinding.
Saw the dust flying and like the masks on and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
No, so it's been fun though. Well, Jason, I'm glad you're here. I know you haven't been feeling too hot, but man, I'm glad you're feeling better. And you know, we appreciate you and your family so much. You know, this is such a great community, and that's what I love about Thursdays. I mean, every day we try to lift people up and encourage them, but today, a thankful Thursday. This first segment is always on 94.3, and so we want to welcome anybody that may be joining us on the radio side of things, along with social media, but. You know, starting off this Thankful Thursday, I always like to give you the opportunity, Jason, just to maybe highlight something to be thankful for.
Absolutely. So I was thinking about this yesterday, Rob, because something unique happened to me. And today I want to say I'm thankful, and I want everybody out there to be thankful for old friends. You know, those friends that you have that God places in your path, and as time goes by, sometimes life just gets away from you. you were friends at one time. You did things together, and then before you know it, 5 years has gone by, or a couple of years has gone by, and you hadn't talked to him or seen him, or maybe you see him at funerals and you say hi and that sort of thing. Well, this week life was going by as it normally does, and there's a man that God placed in my life several years ago that became a dear friend of mine. He was going through a very difficult time, and I was going through a time of transition and difficulty too, and we spent a lot of time working together, doing different things. I would help him. He was in between jobs, and he was doing some work around the community, and I'd go help him do whatever just to make ends meet. And we developed a great friendship during that time. And like I said, then he ended up getting a good job and started working and all that. And like I said, time goes by and you don't see him, and you kind of you're nothing has come between you. It's just life, you know. Your kids are doing things, his kids are doing things. We may see each other at a ball game, or we may see each other at a funeral, and we say hi. Well, Tuesday night I got a call saying that he was in. It was late at night. It was about 9:30, and his son called me, and I was an unrecognizable number on my phone, but I knew if it was late at night and it was a local number that it had to be somebody that I knew. So I picked up the phone and answered the call, and this man's son told me that he was going into emergency surgery. That last week he began feeling ill, and he's an old country boy, and he goes to the doctor, but not near as much as he should, like a lot of us. And he's tough, and he fought through what he felt like was back pain, and he kept going to work, and his people at the work were telling him he needed to go to the doctor, and his son's telling me all this, and he said he ended up over the weekend being in such severe pain that he had to go to the emergency room. He went to the emergency room, and they looked him over and kind of evaluated and thought it was kidney stones, and they gave him some medicine to treat him for kidney stones, and they told him that if it didn't get any better, he needed to go back to the emergency room. So he went home, and he was taking the medicine, and it didn't get any better. It got worse. In fact, he started losing feeling in his legs. And so then he knew he needed to go back to the emergency room. This time he went to a different emergency room, and they took him in, went to College Station, and they took him in, and they noticed what concerned them the most was the fact that he was losing strength in his legs. They send him over to Temple, and they do a scan, and they find out that he has a massive infection along his spinal cord. Oh. Yeah, it was a staph infection that had been growing in his spinal cord. They thought, I asked the doctor while I was there why they thought it happened, and he said it could have been a variety of reasons, but maybe those kidney stones that he did have was causing such a problem with his body that it was, that it developed this infection. I don't know if that's the case or what, but anyway, so Tuesday night, his son called me and said he's going in to have this very important surgery. And I looked, I said, well, listen, we're going to be praying for you guys. And Kim and I prayed for him that night, and I went to bed. I told him, I said, keep me updated throughout the night, just text me and let me know. And I woke up on early Wednesday morning, and I thought to myself, I looked at my phone and I saw that he made it through his surgery. His son had texted me, and when I woke up Wednesday, I just felt like I needed to go to Temple to see him, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, like I said. And I'm so thankful that I did, because it was about 2 hours and 10 minutes from my house to Temple, and from here it's even longer. But I had every excuse in the world not to go. I had a meeting that I needed to get to Wednesday, and there's a lot going on here at the church. We missed last Sunday. We needed to get prepared for a lot of different things. But I thought, this is what the Lord has called me to, ministry. I need to get up and go. So I went, and 2 hours and 10 minutes there, I walked into the room, and when he saw me, he just started tearing up. And he said, Jason Bay, he said, I'm so glad you're here. And it was like in that few minutes that time had just, like we hadn't been apart at all. We just started talking, and he shared with me, like I said, we have gone through some difficult times previously, and we talked about those times in his life and in my life, and we just shared a minute with his daughter was there, and we just shared a minute of just genuine friendship and care for one another. And I thought about this over last night and today, that the Bible says a friend is born for adversity. Proverbs 17:17, a friend is born for adversity. So I think about that a lot of times when we do let time get away from us. We let the busyness of our schedules keep us apart, and things come between us and those that we love the most and those that care for us. And we really needed on this Thankful Thursday to really prioritize the things in our life that mean the most. We're not going to go back in our lives and say, man, I really wish I hadn't missed that meeting that I needed to go to. I really should have done, went in that extra day at work. No, the things that we're going to miss is those times in our relationships where we should have done what God is calling us to at the moment, to be responsive and to listen to the call of the Holy Spirit, to be that friend for someone in need. And we began to talk about just eternity. We began to talk about he lost a daughter, and I went through that stage with him. She was a young teenage girl at the time, and we began just talking about what eternity was like. And I told him, I was like, it ain't gonna be long, and we're not gonna be here anymore. We're gonna be all together. And he was tearing up, and he's like, yeah, I can't wait for that day. I can't wait to be reunited with all those that have gone before. And we just spent a moment just reminiscing, but also looking forward to with great anticipation to that day that we're all together. And it brought, and I, at the same time, I had been ministering to another person this week that's going through hospice, and she's been a great dear friend of our family, but also a great member of this church for so many years. I wanted to read this scripture this morning in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13. Paul says, "But we do not want you to be uninformed, brethren, about those who are asleep, so that you will not grieve, as do the rest who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with him those who have fallen asleep in Jesus. For this we say to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord will not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore, comfort one another with these words." Those two events of the week of just ministering to those people that have been friends of mine for a long time and realizing how short life is, the brevity of life. The Bible says it's a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. This scripture reminds us that we're to comfort one another with the fact that one day, and that day comes sooner today than it did yesterday, that we'll be together with the Lord. And there's this desire throughout Scripture. There's this desire throughout Scripture that the Lord would be with his people, of reuniting again, of coming back home to that place where you sit around the table and you enjoy fellowship and laughter with one another. That place where you gather together and you look around your table and there's an empty chair there because somebody that you love is not there. One day that chair will be filled when we are gathered together with him around the table of fellowship in the kingdom of God that has no end. And a lot of times we lose sight of that. And a lot of times we prioritize things that aren't as important. Last night, my scripture for the kids in our upwards basketball was, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you." Prioritize life and those things that are most valuable. And I thought about how even for ministers, and maybe especially for ministers, time gets away and we lose touch with those we love. There's a little poem that I like and I want to share this morning. And it reminds us of the importance of taking the time in life to foster those relationships, to be thankful for the old friends in life, for those that may have slipped through the cracks that you haven't been in fellowship with for a while. It says, this poem says, if I could write a letter, just a simple line or two, I'd tell you how grateful for all the things you do. But instead, I'll wait till later, till your work on earth is through, and I'll stand beside your casket, and I'll say the things I knew. I'll bring a wreath of roses, white lilies, soft and fair. I'll cry about how much you meant and how you were always there. But what good are flowers then, my friend, when your eyes can no longer see? What good are words of love and praise when you can no longer hear from me? So let me say it while you're living. Let me speak before it's too late. Let me give the flowers now, not at the hands of fate. Let me hug you. Let me thank you. Let me show you that I care, because the greatest gift of love is given when you're there. And I thought, as I drove home, before I left there with my friend, I prayed with him, and I told him how thankful I was that God had placed him in my life, and he told me the same. And I just thought how valuable that day was yesterday. 2.5 hours back, or 2 hours and 10 minutes back, riding in the car, and it was a great time to be alone, just to reflect. And I was driving over to Temple, and I was seeing all the snow out there hadn't melted yet. They got hit a lot harder than we did. So it was just a beautiful scene, driving, not very many cars on the road, the ice melting, and just thinking about the goodness of the Lord and being thankful for old friends. So let me just say on this Thankful Thursday to everyone out there, what can you be thankful for today? Be thankful for old friends. Pick up the phone, call somebody, let them know how much you appreciate them, because you never know. Life is just a vapor that appears for a little while, and you never know when you might not have that chance again. So if you want to be thankful today, stop and say a prayer and say, thank you, Lord, for old friends, and then pick up the phone or make a stop and see somebody that you care about.
That's good, Jason. That's so good, because I never want to get to the point to say, I wish I would have. I wish I would have.
Right.
How many times in life have we said, I wish I would have? I think about my uncle when my uncle was sick, and we always talked about, we wanted to go see him, my great uncle. And then the time came to where he had a heart attack and we didn't get to see him.
Yep.
And I regret that. And I was young. I was probably, I was right out of high school, but I hadn't seen him in a while. And we were close. We always talked to him. But for years, I was really regretting that I didn't get to go see him. I think your message this morning is such an important message for so many people out there today, to be reminded of your friends and don't give up on them.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we had known each other for, like I said, a long time. He knew me before I was full-time in ministry, and so those friends are special to me because they know me and all my flaws and things that I can't hide, and they still love me anyway.
Yeah.
And it was a good day. I didn't get to stay as long as I liked, but I stayed as long as I needed to, because they were still doing a lot of treatment. He's got a long recovery to go, just so you know, everyone out there may be wondering. They did, I don't want to say his name, but they did do the surgery. They were able to clear out most of the infection. The infection is still there. They're going to have to treat him long-term antibiotics. He'll have to work to gain progress and his ability to walk again. So it's a long journey. And the doctor, like I said, came in while I was there, and the doctor, my friend was laying there. He's like, "Is it all right if I share it in front of him?" He said, "Whatever you need to share with me," he said, "you can just tell him."
Yeah.
And so he was talking to me, and he said, and I asked him, I said, what's the next days look like? And he said, well, the next days are going to be crucially important, because if he starts making progress with his ability to walk, with his movement in his limbs, then we'll know that the antibiotics are working, and we'll know that the recovery might be shorter than expected. But if he doesn't start showing progress in the next couple of days, then we may have to do another surgery. He may be in a long-term rehab program where he'll literally have to learn to walk again. So you just never know. I mean, he was a good health. He's a hard-working individual. He's one of those guys that the salt of the earth type of guys. But in one instant, you start feeling bad, and the next thing you know, you're going to the doctor, and the next thing you know, you're in surgery. Life changes so quickly. It gets away from us, and we just need to make sure that we prioritize those things of most importance.
Yeah, that's good. Jason, thanks for sharing. What a awesome way to start a Thankful Thursday, to be thankful for old friends.
Amen.
I do want to say this. There's a lot of folks who join us that don't have the ability to email or to go to a website. And I'm talking about folks that are behind prison walls. And I want those folks to be able to engage with us as well. And you know how you can do that? By correspondence. I know that we can't send letters in, but you guys and gals can send letters out. And I've been very open about this. Send us a letter and let us know what you're thankful for. Even in the midst of adversity, we'd love to hear from you, because there's always something that we can all be thankful for. You can send those letters to 1363 Elkins Lake. It's 1363 Elkins Lake, Huntsville, Texas, 77430, and just make it to Spirit Radio. We will get those letters, and we'll be more than happy to talk about it over the air. I've been talking, when we did a call to Neil last week, I was mentioning that because I started thinking there's some folks can't reach us through email. And so I wanted to give an opportunity for those that can't email. Maybe somebody that's not behind a prison wall. They say, well, I don't do email. Well, now you can send us a letter. I love getting handwritten letters. There's something special about that from old friends.
Absolutely. There is something special about that. And throughout the years of ministering here, then I've gotten many different letters from inmates that really needed special prayers. And like you said, we encourage you to do that, encourage you to, sometimes you may feel so alone, but no, you're not alone. There's people out here that care for you. There's a God that cares for you. And we're here about to talk and emphasize restoration, redemption. And we want you to hear not only what you're going through, but we want you to know that God is writing your redemption story.
Amen. Well, we're going to take a break here in just a few moments. Our friend Lois Stehlik is joining us from Old Town Theater. This first segment is always on Spirit 94.3. If you'd like to continue the conversation with us, many of you already are on social media. You can hop over to our YouTube channel at Hello Huntsville, and also the stream there on Facebook, whichever one you want. That is where the show will continue. For now, though, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Lois comes back with us. Hang out with us. Come join us on social media. We'll be back in a moment. This is Good Morning Huntsville. The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hey friend, Rob Hipp here for Elliott's Jewelers. The new year is here, and what a better way to start out the new year than celebrating the moments that matter the most. And you can do that with Elliott's Jewelers here in Huntsville. Whether it's an engagement, an anniversary, a birthday, or maybe just a fresh start, Elliott hand selects every diamond, and he creates meaningful pieces that are designed just for you. There's no crowded showroom, no pressure, just personal attention and jewelry that tells your story. So again, start the new year with something timeless. It's Elliott's Jewelers here in Huntsville by appointment only. Book online at elliotsjewelers.com.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
All right, we got the jam going this morning. You like that, Jason?
Yeah, man, it's a lot more energetic than.
Sounds like the 90s synth music.
Which is great, right?
Yeah. Did you ever jam out to like Bryan Adams, Boys
Yeah.
to Men? Remember them?
I do remember all that.
Did you ever jam to it?
Define jam.
Jam, turning the station. Well, hey, everybody, welcome back as we continue on. We want to welcome all of you that are joining us on social media through YouTube, Facebook, and other channels this morning. And a big thank you to Elliott Herzlich from Elliott's Jewelers. He's been supporting this program for a long, long time. And our platform here on Hello Huntsville, we couldn't do it without his generous support. Go by and see him. Set up an appointment there. elliotsjewelers.com is where you can go. He'll take care of you. And if you're in the doghouse this morning, the best way to get out is go get some jewelry for that loved one of yours, and you will be out and back in the house if you go see Elliott. So go do that. And, of course, big shout-out, Jason Bay, First Baptist Church, a harbor of hope here in Huntsville. More information is online at fbchuntsville.org.
And let me just say, Rob, as you mentioned, Elliott's Jewelers, it's so important. God gave Rob a vision for this community and to have a local station that focuses on local events and local businesses. It's so important, if you appreciate this station and what God is doing through this, that you go and support those local businesses, and you let them know where you heard about it from. So don't only go visit him, but tell them you heard about it from Spirit Radio or Hello Huntsville, and let them know how much you appreciate the work that Rob has put into the community. And speaking of local, we have a special guest here today.
One of the best in local, none other than, we're going to start calling her Local Lois. Lois Stehlik joining us here today from the Old Town Theater. Lois, one thing, the first segment, we always do it on FM, and so we can't do a lot of promotional things over the traditional FM airwaves because of the way the license is with our low-power nonprofit license. So we come back on the second segment, and that's why we start promoting everything. And so we want to promote what you are doing, and we can still talk about events, but we just always want to make sure that we're promoting, what's going on. with Old Town Theater today. Lois, before we get started, how have you been doing? What's going on?
I'm good. I missed y'all. I haven't been on in a while.
It has been. We're in a new studio now.
I know. I couldn't find it. I was at the wrong door.
Well, Lois, I know a lot going on. It feels a little bit different because we're normally like sitting,
know.
You know, Jason, it does. I do like
It feels
this.
official.
Yeah, it feels too officially now.
No, I love it because I can look at you and I can look at our guests and instead of just sitting beside you. And plus, there's this nice desk here, so that in the summertime when we wear shorts, all that matters is what you're wearing right here.
Lois, the way that we designed this table, I had this in my mind because, you know, I like to eat a lot of hamburgers.
It's got little grooves.
I needed the enclave there so I could fit in here. So, well, let us know what's going on. I know you're going to talk about a show coming up.
We do. We have a really special show coming
Yeah.
up on February. So first of all, we've got a sold-out show for this tomorrow. It's Shaun of the South. It's a really great show coming up. But we have a few seats in the balcony left, but it will be sold out, I'm sure. But then next week on the 7th, is Saturday the 7th, we have what's called American Bombshells. This is a group that it's a USO touring group. They tour all over the world bringing hope to troops. And when they're in America, they go around and tour theaters and stuff like that. And then the money that they make allows them to do the actual out of the United States tours. And so it's just a give back thing for them. It's a group I talked to the lady the other day and she said there's 21 singers, but they come in sets of 3. I'd love to have all 21 at one time. Sure. They do like an Andrews Sisters type show. And so we had an idea that, you know, we're giving to this so that they can give to troops, but we also wanted to give to our people. And so we got with some local businesses and asked for donations, and we were met with donations, and then we were able to gift 66 veterans and first responders here in Huntsville the tickets so they could come for the show for free. So I'd like to give a shout out to those donors, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
The Vance and Karen Howard Foundation, Russell Tish Humphrey, Texas State Representative Trey Wharton, City Hall Cafe and Pie Bar, Steely Lumber, and Bob Kane, who's with Veteran Services Officer. Those people were very generous and helped us out a lot. So we were able I went to one of the veterans breakfasts last month, and we set up a booth and had people line up to take tickets. So that was just a really good give back feeling, you know. Give back to the people that are giving back, so to speak.
Well, let us know a little bit more, you know, about the program that's coming up. I know this is a really awesome group, and you know, one thing that I've always been fascinated with you, Lois, is just your ability to bring people into Huntsville.
You know, it's always somebody making a suggestion, and when someone came to me and said you ought to get the American Bombshells, they saw them on Good Morning America.
Wow.
And so I went back and watched that episode, and I was like, that would be a good thing. It's, you know, different, something different. And so it's these 3 ladies, and I want to say they have a change, like they do an intermission. So they come out looking like the Andrews Sisters, which that was way before my time, but I had heard about them. And anyway, they do a patriotic, but it's a lot of older nostalgic type music. It's really going to be great. It's going to be a great night. I'm sure they give a shout out to each one of the different services. And so it's just going to be a good night. So we still have plenty of tickets left. So if anybody's interested, you go online and get a ticket. Come see me. I do have a few veteran tickets left to give out, but not a lot. So.
You know, Jason, one thing, Lois Stehlik here with us from Old Town Theater. Jason, one thing that I love about this community is the patriotism. Mm-hmm. And when you think about a community that gives back to veterans, I don't think that I've ever seen a community give back to veterans as much as this community does. You grew up here. You've seen it too.
Yeah, absolutely. This community loves its vets, and there's so many in the community. And what I love about the veteran emphasis here in Huntsville is every one of those veterans has a story to tell. And it's interesting when you go back and you look and you appreciate the past, what we can learn. When my boys were little, I took them over to the Veterans Museum, and we walked through there, and we met some of the vets that were there, and they were able to tell their stories. And it really changed my children's lives at that time, because they began to get an appreciation for the past, that we are here and that freedom is not free. And I think this program is just another thing that you can look back on with nostalgia, but also to appreciate the past and what this country has come through to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
Lois, you bring in a group like this, and again, it will draw a lot of folks and veterans and those kind of things. What can folks expect from what you've seen? I haven't seen them yet. You saw them on Good Morning America, and you've researched them. I know you mentioned a lot of some older type music too, but what do you think that night is going to look like?
It's going to be a very patriotic, goosebumpy kind of night for me. I know it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of. It's going to be a lot of memories brought back to a lot of people. I think they're a great group, very harmonic. These three ladies that get up there is usually a blonde, a brunette, and a brown. So, it's just going to bring back a lot of memories. It really is. Those that have seen them in the past or have seen something similar to it in the past. I can't wait. I've been looking forward for this for a while. I believe they're coming in from New York. We're really excited about it. I don't know which three I'm getting.
Wow. So I'm totally in the dark here. So what do they sing, or what kind of?
No, they sing.
And they sing a lot of patriotic tunes.
They do a lot of patriotic, but they also do songs. These are like songs of the 50s.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. It really is.
I think there is an underappreciation for the Old Town Theater, Rob, because years ago, my wife and I went to an event that you guys had there, and I hadn't been to the Old Town Theater in a long time, but I walked in there. I walked in there, and I was amazed at the work that you guys have put into that theater to keep it restored, for the sound quality that they have there, and the live atmosphere of theater is just something that needs to be cherished and appreciated. And we're lucky, very lucky to have that in this community, because so many old theaters like this one have died down through the years, and other forms of entertainment have taken their place. And if you want to see some sort of live music performance or live acting or theater, it's hard to find those. And my wife and I, we love those. We love to, when we go on vacation, just her and I, we try to find a little theater like that and go to it. And so I want to just make a mention to some people out there that may have never been to the Old Town Theater, or it's been a long, long time. Go back and see what they have done there. Tell us a little bit about what you have seen transpire over the years.
I started volunteering in, I believe it was late 18. I volunteered most of 19. I became a board member in 20, and then COVID hit. That was hard. But we kept it going, kept it with the help of grants and different things. Kept going through it, struggled through it. But now it's just absolutely crazy. We have, we used to do like 2 shows a month. That was good for us. Now it's 3 or 4 or 5 a month. We're constantly adding shows. But we get a lot of big artists. Like we have Tracy Bird coming. Everybody's like, is it the real one, or is it it's the real one? and he'll sell out. Most of our big shows sell out. We have this, like I said, tomorrow we have a guy, and his name is Sean Dietrich. If you don't know who he is, please look him up, because you're going to love this guy. He's an instrumentalist. He plays all kinds of instruments, but he's flying in with his wife, and they're bringing a banjo and a guitar, and one backpack has an accordion, another backpack has a fiddle. We have the grand piano. I'm getting it tuned up today, and he's just phenomenal. But he's a storyteller, and he sings a lot of gospel songs, and he's just really great. And when I first booked him, I was like, I don't know, is this guy going to sell? Because I didn't know who he was. I mean, I had followed him on Facebook after I heard about him, but all my friends, my group didn't know who he was. This guy is sold out. We have people coming from Oklahoma, we have people coming from Arkansas. Oh, wow. Everybody coming into town, staying in hotels, going to restaurants. They call us all the time wanting to know where's a good place to stay, or where do you recommend. And so those are the ones that shock me, the ones that I think, I hope this guy sells enough to pay for us. But then it sells out, and we've got people wanting downstairs. I've got a list, and I don't have any places downstairs. If you can't make it in the balcony, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we've added more tables. We first had 6 VIP tables. Now we have 8. We just keep packing them in. So we also have a show coming up into March, and it's the ventriloquist Darcy Lynn, who won America's Got Talent when she was 12 years old. So when they called and wanted to bring her to town, I was like, who's going to go see a ventriloquist? I would like to see her, but is it going to sell? Are we going to have to eat this one too? Well, we have added a second show. First show sold out. So many complaints because they couldn't get tickets. And so we called them just like 3 weeks ago. We called and said, is there a possibility that we'll do, because it's a Sunday afternoon at 4:00. So we called and they said they would, we negotiated and we were able to put it in at 7:00, and we've sold over half those seats as well.
Golly,
so those are the ones that just shocked me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a hard day. We'll be there all day long, but it's going to be good. So we have every kind of, we do comedians, we have gospel. Our gospel ones always do well. We try to usually put them on a Sunday afternoon so it hits the right audience. We have a puppy show. I'm so excited about. They were also on America's Got Talent. It's a rescue dogs. It's called Puppy Pals. And
Kim and the kids would like that
Oh
one.
my goodness!
That's gonna be fun.
My daughter Lily, who may be listening, she said she wanted to skip school today. So
I've got to get some volunteers
she
in the back to
loves
handle the
dogs.
dogs in between. So
that is so cool. What a great idea! I mean, that I'm thankful that y'all are so broad in your approach. There's so many different things that you guys are doing, not just one demographic, but reaching families and other demographics. What I also think is beautiful is driving down and by the way, if you don't know where the Old Town Theater is, it's right off of the square on 12th Street, not far from our church. If you know where our church is, it's in walking distance of our church. But walking on the outside, looking at the renovations of the old square and the outside of the building and all of that, it looks beautiful down there.
Yeah, we just got through doing some renovation inside. We're finishing up. Hopefully, the next week or so that'll be done. But it's a all day, every day thought. What next? I mean, it's got
It's an old building.
Yeah, it's an old building, and right now when it's cold,
It's
tough to keep it heated, and certain spots are hot, and the next one's freezing. Like, move around.
Yeah,
that's all I can tell you. Bundle up.
But it's so cool walking into an old building like that. The theaters that we go to is when we're down in Galveston. Is the old
Strand.
Yeah, there's a couple of theaters, but there's the Opry, whatever it is, the 18 whatever something opera. We've gone to see several theaters there. It's a little bigger, but it has that same feel. You're walking back in time and seeing something that you can remember and appreciate. And I think stuff like this is a dying art, and we need to do whatever we can to preserve it, because live action shows are there's so much, to me, so much more meaningful. You leave impacted so much more when you see something live like that. Yeah. Not just something you scroll through on the internet.
One of my favorite events was at Jack Nelson. Did I remember his name right?
Yep.
He was scheduled to play
in the rain.
Yeah.
It was Main Street. And so we serve as a backup plan for Main Street's summer series, their music series, I think they call it. And so it's the second Saturday from May, June, July, and August. So we make sure we block that off and don't have any events there, just in case they have a rain out. One year they had 2 rain outs, and I just felt horrible for them because I know that costs a lot of money. And I was just like, they could have had it here. They could have had just moved it over here. So we decided we'd partner with them, and we just blocked that day off and make our theater available for him. Well, that day he had set up at Main Street, set up at the amphitheater, the stage outside, and it was a threat of rain. And it was during the wind down whiskey up. So we were there all day long. And it wasn't going to rain. Everything is good. And 7 o'clock, the first bolt of thunder came. We're like, oh, no. And they called and said, open the door. And it was a wet mess. We had like 80 people in there that day.
Bridget was out of town that weekend, and I was bored. I was like, what am I going to do? I didn't want to just sit at home. And because Jack had came on and played for us on the show live.
Oh, wow.
And I said, man, this guy is, and you would like, it's real good country music.
Yeah.
And so he came in. I said, I really want to go hear the full set of this guy. And so I was going to go, and then they ended up moving it because of the rain. And I had the time of my just sitting there. And I say this for a reason. Even if you go by yourself, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We my wife and I, we've seen. You know me, Rob. I'm like a throwback. I just turned 50, but I feel like I'm about 65.
An old soul.
He's a Merle Haggard.
So that's what I was getting at. I've heard several of the old country acts that you brought in there, and drug my wife to those. But she enjoyed it. we had a good time. And then I saw some of the acts that you guys bring over from Sam Houston State University that do. I think there was a local theater project that y'all were doing on Peter Pan several years ago that we came and watched. There's a lot of local kids that were involved in that we knew and had connections with. So we've seen a lot of different shows there. But that's what, like I said earlier, that's one of the things that's cool about the Old Town Theater is that it has such a variety. It's not just one demographic. You can find, if you go online, you can, what's the website?
Old Town Theater. You just go to our Facebook page and you see all the events there, or you can go to our website, oldtowntheater-huntsville.org.
And that there you can see all the acts that they have, and you can always find something to that will appeal to you or appeal to your demographic. And I think it's cool to find one of those family shows and take your kids to them and let them see something that, an actual theater and how an actual theater operates. There's such value in that, I believe. And it takes you back thousands of years. This art has been performed, and what a great way of keeping that going in our community. And I'm thankful for the organization that you're a part of that makes sure that Old Town Theater doesn't die, but continues in this theater, because this community has always been about history and about preserving those things that are of value, and this is a value.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, we want folks to come. There's several events, but the big one, American Bombshell, Saturday, February the 7th at 7:30. Tickets are still available, so you can go online, purchase those tickets now. And again, Old Town Theater, that's THEATRE
right.
-Huntsville.org. We've put the link up there, and many other events. Steph Valley was asking about the puppy pal. She's with Magnolia Kennel. Yeah. She is the dog whisperer of Huntsville, by the way. That's what we call her. And the Puppy Pals Live, Steph, is on Sunday, June the 7th. At 4:00.
Oh man, we
I
gotta
like
go
how
to
you
that.
do them at 4:00 because if you go to church and then you can go to the events.
Yeah, this is going to be a children's show mostly. I expect to have a lot of children, so we don't want to do an evening show, and then they're cranky. So that's why we decided to do it. Day. Right.
Yeah. No, I think I'm looking it up right now because that I can see our whole family coming to that one, and that what a great time that would be. Just to see those. You've seen them on online, and you've seen them on TV before, all these tricks that these dogs can do, and it amazes me. But to see it live would be just
walk a tightrope.
Yeah. To
that's
see
gonna be cool.
So cool.
Have you ever had anything like that, like live animals?
We have had live animals, and I said then probably never again, and here I am. We had a magic show once, and the bird got loose after the show, and so the bird's in the balcony, and the rabbits are hopping around, and I was like, oh Lord, I had volunteers, and they're go get the rabbit. Go get.
I love it.
So now they've asked for different handlers to come help them.
Well,
with
Lois,
with the dogs.
I just appreciate. I echo Jason. We just appreciate you so much, and I know I tell you that every time, but I mean it because you have done such wonderful work. And
it takes a team. There's board members. We have 7 board members, and so there's several of us that are working on it constantly.
Well, maybe any other things that you'd like to highlight before you go today? I always like to give you a final opportunity. I know a lot going on.
We've got so much good stuff coming up. Mo Bandy, Doug Stone, some of the good oldies but goodies.
Mo Bandy. See, I'm looking at it right now, Rob, and these are some Doug Stone.
Oh, he's good.
Jason's like, hold on, I need to get my credit card. I'm going to start buying tickets.
A tribute to Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have a Motown coming in from Branson, Missouri. That's going to be a fun night.
Cool.
That's going to be a fun night. We have partnered up with CMA of Texas, and they're doing they did it last year, so this is going to be their second singer-songwriter showcase where people, if you are a singer or songwriter, you'll call in and send a tape in to CMA of Texas. I can give you their name and number, and then she will invite you to showcase you, and it's a big night for some of these people. And then get your foot in the door with the CMA of Texas. That is going to be coming up on May. It's also on a Sunday. She does it on a Sunday, so it doesn't interfere with the singer-songwriter's schedule because they're usually busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so we had that last year, and it was wonderful. We had, I think, 12 contestants.
Wow.
So it's a big night.
I want to go to the Bob Wills Texas Playboy.
That's
I was
fun.
going to mention that one too.
That's
yeah,
the
that's
one that I-
9 little gentlemen up there with fiddles, and that's a fun
Yeah.
day. Fun day.
Gene
we
Watson.
enjoy that. And we have a hypnotist coming. That's funny. Have you ever seen the hypnotist get 10 people on stage acting like chickens and stuff? That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, y'all just have there's something for everything. You know, here's one too. This is unbelievable. You have a voice winner, the winner of The Voice coming.
You talking about Craig?
Craig Wayne Boyd. That is unbelievable. You know, that year I was watching, that's one of the shows that I like. You know, I'm not hating, but I gave up on American Idol. It just it's just been going and it's good. Don't get me wrong. But The Voice is so neat because they don't see him.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Yeah, it's true.
And as humans, you know, as much as we say that we don't, I mean, we do look at people and we're like, oh, well, maybe, you know, and I don't mean it in a rude way, but we're like, well, that person probably can't sing.
Yeah.
The Voice is so incredible because they can't see him, so they can't make any prejudgment calls based on appearance. This guy, I told Bridget, I said, he better win The Voice. And he ended up winning. You have The Voice winner, one of the seasons. I'm going to go hear this guy.
Craig
Have you
Wayne
heard of him?
Boyd.
He is unbelievable.
Rob, I'm so out of touch, but I'll take your word for it. But I am looking at this American Bombshells at the Old Town Theater. For the seats that are remaining start at only $35. I mean, that's a deal. You can't. I mean, for the
And as a
entertainment
nonprofit,
value.
we try to keep the prices so that we, you know, of course we want to pay the guarantee, but we also need to make a little bit every month to pay utilities. That's keep the lights on. I mean, so we try to keep the price as low as possible.
Well, I appreciate the work that you do to make this possible
Thank you.
and bring these acts to Huntsville, because without you working it, I know just from, you know, people here at the church have wanted to bring in different musicians for different things. And it's as a minister and trying to put everything
Organize it,
together,
I know.
organize, it is such a big task that nobody wants to undertake that. But I'm thankful to y'all for taking on that job, to getting that, putting yourselves out there to say, hey, like you said, we don't know how this is going to be received, but hey, let's try it. Let's bring it in and see how the community reacts.
Every once in a while, we have to eat one. We do. But when that happens, we usually just open it up to the public.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have the seats full.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
so
you got to
we'd-
take those chances.
Yeah,
though.
we just
That's what I'm
adjust,
saying. You
right.
have to take those chances.
She's not going to take a chance on me because I was singing during the
No,
break,
it's
and
over.
Lois said, "Sorry, we're not going to sell any tickets
That's
today."
not gonna happen.
An evening with Rob Hibb, that would sell out. No question.
Yeah, right.
Rob.
That would people would be like paying to get out of the place. So, well, Lois, well, thank you so much. You're always a friend, always welcome here, and anytime you want to come, you have got the link. You just set up a time and you come and please keep us. I'd like to see if once a month if you could come in, you know, and just give us some updates. We want to continue to promote what the Old Town Theater is doing, and especially when some of these folks come in, if they're able to come in here and play for us, boy, that's always been fun.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a little more room in here now to where they could do that. So
Yeah. I want to give one little shout out to a show we have on April 11th. His name is Doyle Dykes. He's one of the #1 fingerstyle guitarists. Y'all are both looking at me like, what? I didn't know him either. Someone called it to my attention. And he's phenomenal. He does a Sunday sing-along every Sunday. And he's in Nashville. And he does a lot of gospel, he's just amazing. Chet Atkins had nothing on this guy.
Really?
He is
Oh, yeah.
amazing. So for all the guitar pickers, this is a time of your life. You should come to see that.
Lois has a cool job. She gets to she has all these guys' numbers. She gets to call on them and check on them. She's
She
like
sees
the
them
mom.
all.
You're the
Yeah.
mother to these guys
But also,
now, right?
I'm the one that catches the heat if I do something wrong. If you don't have that right hotel room booked or the right meal or gluten-free or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Lois, thanks again. And again, folks, go to oldtown-theater.org to get these tickets. And we'll post an article a little bit later this week or next week on the interview here today. So,
Okay. Appreciate
well,
it.
thanks for hanging out with us, Lois. Lois Stehlik again from the Old Town Theater. We'll take a break here in a few moments and continue promoting the good here in our community. We'll do it through the segment that everyone waits for, News You Can Use with Jason Bates. Really important news, Lois. We'll be back in a moment. God bless you. Stay with us here on Good Morning Huntsville.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We are not a daycare. We are a child care center focused on the growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, education you can trust.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hi, I'm Kanan. Now listening to Barrett Radio.
Little boy, I love it. My little boy here on Spirit Radio. You know, it's cool. He didn't say that in one sentence, by the way. I had to record it in segments.
At least it's not AI, though.
It's not AI. It's time of the week that we all wait for. The winter apocalypse is over. Things are thawing out. And it's time to get back to news you can absolutely use with Jason Bay. Take it away, J Bay.
All right. Thank you, Rob, for that beautiful introduction. And this is news you can use. This is news that you can use to discuss around your dinner table at night, to increase communication value at home. Since I've been doing this, Rob, and looking up these stories, I can't tell you the number of times that I have said to my kids, "Hey, you don't believe this story that I found in whatever article I read it in. I saw this article today, blah, 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 blah," and then it starts a communication, a dialogue about current events of the day that may not be on the front page. It might not even be on the second page. But as you get to the back, that's where the good stuff is. Because we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about controversial things that newspapers and other publications love to put front and center in your mind to make you think about all the negative things in the world. We're really just looking at some news stories that you might not get elsewhere. That's why we want you to tune in for news you can use each and every week. All right, so I just have a few that this morning, Rob, because I have been out, and but I did want to bring these to your attention, and I'd like for your input on each and every one of these, as always. Walmart, that's our first concept that we're going to take, and this comes from Inc. magazine. Walmart just made a game-changing announcement, and it says a lot about the future. Now, when you think about Walmart in the past, one of the things that makes a successful company throughout the years is their ability to pivot in the midst of cultural change. Correct, Rob? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that we see from businesses like Netflix, for instance. Netflix started out with mail-ordered DVD system where you could write in and or go online and check out some DVDs instead of going to your local Blockbuster. And since then, Netflix has pivoted many times, and no longer is there a Blockbuster, but Netflix is still around. And I think you told me, Rob, that at one time, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix and turn that down.
Blew it.
Yeah, and so, but one of the things that makes a business successful is the ability to pivot in cultural change, and we've definitely seen cultural change in the last 10 years, and we'll see it as we continue. But this is a pivoting point for Walmart. It says the clearest signal of this change came from the most important job, and that's from the CEO. At Walmart, the stepping stone to the top role is the job of running the U.S. business, the division that generates roughly 70% of the company's revenue. And they recently hired a brand new CEO that's going to be in charge of stores and merchandising. But here's the interesting thing. His name is Gugina, last name Gugina, David Gugina, and he's never run a store before. He's never held a merchandising role. Instead, his background is in, you guessed it, e-commerce, automation, supply chain, and technology-led operations. He spent 9 years working at Amazon. And this article talks about the pivoting role of Walmart and the way that they see business conducting in the future. We've seen so many businesses in the last few years really go down. The brick and mortar type businesses have really suffered in the last few years. But Walmart seems to be one of those companies, even though it is a brick and mortar business, that has constantly been changing. Under this man's watch, Gugina, Walmart built delivery capabilities that now reach about 95% of U.S. households in under 3 hours, something that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. By elevating him into this role of the CEO, Walmart is making a quiet but consequential statement. This is the experience that matters most now, and that's in the area of technology, of being able to sell things online, to be able to deliver those things to consumers. And I've mentioned to you on this show before, we've benefited from that. We live quite a ways outside of town, and the Walmart Plus system has really been an advantage to us to be able to order our groceries and such online and be able to have those groceries delivered at a minimal cost. So This Walmart is also partnered with OpenAI to enable shopping directly through ChatGPT.
That's scary. It's going to start automatically ordering stuff.
Exactly. It also moved its stock listing from the New York Stock Exchange to NASDAQ, aligning itself symbolically with more tech giants. And so looks like Walmart is really moving more towards e-commerce. It's really moving more towards AI-assisted shopping, automation, and the last mile logistics. The last mile logistics means delivery to homes, which really Amazon now has really cornered the market in that area to be able to get things from the ordering process to your door with very few middlemen. You know, Amazon delivers most of their stuff themselves now. They don't use outside sources such as the USPS or even FedEx or UPS. Most of Amazon stuff is delivered directly by Amazon. They're cutting out the middlemen. So what do you think about Walmart, Rob?
I'm a fan. When I was younger and I started my IT company, I read Sam Walton's biography, and it inspired me because here was a man that just had this vision to bring retail at an affordable level. You know, their phrase, they used to always say, "Always low prices, always." That was their slogan, always, back in the day. And, he started out with the 5 and dime and then grew it into what he did with Walmart. And I think it's incredible what they've been able to do. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Walmart this. I like Walmart. I do. Yeah. I enjoy going. I don't expect people to bend over backwards at Walmart for things because they're there to sell product and push on. But I'll tell you what, the one here, everybody's always been friendly. I like Walmart.
Yeah. I remember back in the day where, and this was probably before you were ever here, but Walmart used to be where Hobby Lobby is.
Hobby Lobby always moves into the old Walmart buildings.
That's where Walmart used to be. And back in the day, that was really the first big box store here in Huntsville, and they were really concerned about Walmart at that time because we had a lot of our downtown local shops here and local businesses. When Walmart came in, that did make a dramatic effect on the community. And then I remember the news of the Super Walmart coming in, and that was big news for Huntsville. We were going to get a Super Walmart.
Did it have the McDonald's when it came in?
Yes, it did. It had the McDonald's. I do too. And it was over there where the deli section is now in Walmart. Right there was where where the McDonald's used to be in Walmart. So you could buy unhealthy food and eat it right there.
Josh, have you been back on the McDonald's kick lately? I did want to ask Josh real quick. I know we're talking news you can use, but are you back to McDonald's yet, Josh?
No, sir.
Oh man, what's he fasting from McDonald's?
Yeah. What are you on now?
Just meal preps.
Oh,
there you go.
Well, that's getting
there you go.
Wait, hey, you want to go to Smiley's today and get a burger?
Potentially.
That was non-committal.
He switched to Burger King, by the way. He said he had a Burger King burger for the first time, and it was one of the best he's ever had.
Yeah, Burger King.
I like Burger King.
Yeah, it is good. But anyway, I just think that there's so much you can learn about this because in whatever business that you're operating in, you can look at the situation around you and you can complain, and we all do. We all live in nostalgia. We like the way things used to be. We like the mom and pop shops, and we like that, and we should support that. And if that's the way we really feel, be sure to shop local. Be sure to go there. But also, the world of business requires you to look at the reality, not the way things used to be or in a nostalgic way, but to look at the reality of the situation and pivot accordingly. And Walmart has consistently done that. Looked at the environment and decided what areas do they need to pivot to speak to the new culture, to the way things are changing, to the way things are consumed. And I tell you, Walmart has continued to thrive and they say in this article, it talks about how they really are at the cutting edge of this, and other companies like Target and others, big box stores, have sort of lagged behind Walmart's emphasis to embrace the new e-commerce market. So there you go. That's something to talk about. Time magazine talks about in this article, says, here's how to tame your sweet tooth. Experts say there are some concrete steps you can take to reduce sugar cravings. Do you find yourself having sugar cravings, Rob?
Did you see my nightstand next to my bed? There's chocolate wrappers and all sorts of candy wrappers.
I was thinking about this the other day myself because, I have these sugar cravings that kick in from time to time, and I just want something sweet, you know. And
I didn't know I didn't think you liked sweet stuff.
I try. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Rob. I'm trying. I try to stay away from them because it is like cocaine. I mean, not that I've tried cocaine, but it is so addictive. Sugar has to be one of the most addictive substances there is. And whenever I start eating more sweet things, I find myself desiring those things more and more and more. And I'll stop by and get me something sweet. And then when I get home, I want it even more. You know what I'm saying?
That's not like, because when I first started working here and it was your birthday, I told Molly, I said, I'm going to go get Jason a cake. And she goes, don't get him. He won't eat it.
Yeah, because I have to watch that. I really do have a sugar is very an addictive substance, and you can eat it. And I'll tell my wife all the time, like, cookies are my downfall. And they always, and I love just cookie dough. You know, I'll eat cookie dough. And it's terrible for you. And it just makes you want more and more. It makes you feel terrible at the end of the day. And all these things, let's just keep that stuff out of the house. We try to eliminate things along the way that you can just put in your shelves and that become that sugar kick, like sugary cereals, things like that. Keep them out of the house. Anyway, this article in Time Magazine talks about one way that you can help balance your blood sugar so that you can eat some sugary snacks without going overboard. It says, when you eat a meal or snack with sugar or carbohydrates, your body breaks it down into glucose, the type of sugar that acts as the body's primary fuel source. If that snack is mostly carbohydrate or sugar without fiber or protein, the amount of glucose in our blood will spike quickly. Then we're on this roller coaster all day long trying to manage our blood sugar dips. Those dips can nudge us to reach for another sweet or carb-laden snack as a quick fix. What we're looking for really is stable blood sugars over the course of the day. What you need to do is you need to be sure to eat protein and fiber, both of which slow down the speed at which carbohydrates turn to sugar in the blood, helping to stabilize blood sugar. Make sure you pair carbohydrates with protein and fiber. That will prevent crashes that cause the cravings for sugar in the first place. So when you do want a snack, when you do want to go to the convenience store and pick up something sweet, just make sure that when you look at the label, it has protein or fiber included in it. I've done this. I've tried to do this more. But if you notice, looking at the labels of a lot of things now, you'll see a lot more snacks offering protein. It'll say it on the label. In fact, the other day I was at Walmart buying some groceries, and the kids love to eat Pop-Tarts in the morning. It's a quick thing, and they're terrible for you. I know there's a lot of sugar in them, but even Pop-Tarts, I've started producing Pop-Tarts with protein, and it has it big on the label, protein. And the reason why they're doing that is because more and more scientists are realizing the importance of protein and fiber as you eat sugar throughout the day, and not just sugar alone. It keeps you from having those crashes throughout the day, and it keeps you from wanting more sugar as those crashes happen.
Well, this sounds good. This is Grandma's absolutely unhinged sugar chicken. Okay, because you said to put, if you eat sugar, make sure it has protein.
Make sure protein.
1 whole chicken. 4 cups of sugar.
There you go.
1 cup of sugar for later. 2 teaspoons of salt. 1 stick of butter. Sprinkles, cotton candy, and whatever else is left. And so that's you cook the chicken with all that stuff, Jason. What do you think? Sounds terrible.
Yeah, really. But there you go. That if you eat sugar, which we all do, just be sure you pair that sugar with carbohydrates, and not carbohydrates, with protein and fiber, so that you don't have those crashes throughout the day.
So what Jason is saying is eat a big candy bar, then eat some chicken, and then take Metamucil.
That's one way of looking at it, Rob. Forbes magazine, talking about sugar. Forbes magazine, this article in Forbes magazine is titled "How America's Most Popular Iced Tea Company Brewed Up a $1.7 billion Family Fortune." You heard of Milo's sweet tea before?
No, but I want to hear about it now.
All right, it's this sold, and you can just go down to the convenience store. It's sold right there. They sell them in little pint jars, but in little pint plastic things. But they also sell them in gallon jugs at the grocery store. But in this article, it talks about how they began. It says in this article that it's really great American growth story. It started just at a local business, and for 13 years, the volume has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown until now. This company has reached $1.7 billion for this one family that just took their business, and over the course of time, they just grew it just by selling sweet tea, basically. It says the tea has a loyal customer base, and it produces 200 million gallons in a year, about 2 billion servings. It all proves that sugar consumption, because they sell their tea with just full sugar, 26 grams of cane sugar per serving, it proves that sugar consumption is still alive and well, as one food industry investor puts it. But it's based in Alabama, and it is the top-selling refrigerated tea brand in 2025. So there you go. If you like to drink sweet tea, I mean, it shows how you can just take an idea and produce it and market it in such a way, and there you go. Selling sweet tea has produced one family $1.7 billion. Would you ever think that would be possible?
No. And my grandmother's sweet tea, if she sold it, we'd be $1 billion family.
Was it that good?
Oh, man, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so simple just to produce sweet tea, but they learned how to. I think a lot of people have good ideas. The difference between people that have good ideas and those that make a lot of money on those good ideas is being able to put it in such a way that makes it marketable. How do you take a good idea and package it in such a way where you can make a profit on it? And that's the hardest thing, I think. Top Gear magazine, it listed this week the top cars that are the fastest depreciating cars in America. The headline of the article reads, "Want to lose as much money as possible the moment you drive out of the showroom? Take a look at these." Number 5, Volkswagen ID4. I've never heard of that, but number 4, the Chevrolet Trailblazer. It might be a Trailblazer by name. It's anything but when it comes to holding its value. The sole combustion car to feature on this list, Chevy's compact SUV, loses 51.9% of its value over 3 years. Number 3, the Polestar 2. Never heard of it. Number 2, Lucid Air. You ever heard of that?
No.
The number 1 most fastest depreciating car in America is what? Guess.
Is it a luxury brand?
Well, some may say it is, but it's something that's been common more in the last 10 years. Let me just put it that way.
Something common more, like a Kia?
No.
Because Kias hold value pretty good.
Yeah, they're not on the list.
What does it start with?
A T.
A T?
Come on, you know.
Oh,
this.
Tesla.
Yeah,
okay,
Tesla.
there you go.
Number 1 most fastest depreciating car. It says in this article, it says we could have filled 4 out of the 5 spots on the list with Teslas alone. And the top spot was Model S, 61.5% devalued in 10 years after you have purchased it, followed by the Model Y, which is 56.6%, Model X, 55.2%, and Model 3, 53.3% decrease in value over the course of 10 years.
See, that's got to be true because my buddy Carl bought a a Tesla, a used one, and he only paid like $16,000 for it.
Yeah.
And it's a nice car.
Yeah.
He got the rebates, and it made me want one. Like,
Yeah.
I want an honestly, if I ever have the money, I want to get an electric truck because the technology has gotten so good now. And he gave me a ride though in that, and it's a 2017 model. But man, that thing is fast. It drives. It's unbelievable. And he paid, like I said, I mean, $16,000, something like that for the car.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no kidding. That's one of the reasons I want to list that, not just to harp on the bad, but I'm a big proponent of buying used cars, and I'm always trying to find one because I have 10 children and they're getting older, and they need to find cars that they can drive, and that's one of the, you can find cars at discounts, and obviously that's going to be one of them in the next few years, especially because as you see more of those on the road, that means they're going to be more and more available. The only problem with it is you have to have a place to plug the thing in. And, you know, we live out in the country, and so there's not like a whole lot of power just waiting. You have to find a place to charge it. One of my kids' friends had one, and they all loved it. He had it in high school, and all the kids loved it. But when they were going on a trip, like they were going to Galveston or they were going somewhere else, they had to plan out their path because they had to make sure that they had places to stop and recharge those. And I think that's going to get better as time goes. The recharging aspect of that's going to get better and better as the cars progress in their technology.
My friend Carl showed me that because he drives his all over. He's a sports broadcaster too, and he showed me, and he said, I said, well, man, don't you have to worry like where to stop? He goes, no, watch this. And he just punched in the address, and it
shows
said,
you.
And it said, okay, if you go here, you're going to have X amount of miles, so go here. And then, if you need, and then he was like, well, I need it to be quicker. Okay, well, instead, go here to the supercharger. It's not going to give you as many, but it'll charge you up quicker.
Yeah.
And he told me he pays like a handful of dollars a month in electricity usage.
Wow.
He said, you know, there's this idea going around that it costs a ton of money in electricity. He goes, man, it's like 80% cheaper than me buying gas.
Yeah.
And it's really got me intrigued.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Well, Rob's going to buy him a Tesla, and then in 10 years, I'm going to buy it from him.
Yeah. I was wondering because you got what, 3 you're driving now?
4 coming on. I have 3.
You're like, please don't remind me.
3 that have their own vehicles now because they're all in college, and that broke us and is still breaking us.
Yeah,
and then
that's tough.
I've got one that just turned 16, so she's going to need something to drive pretty quick. And it does help us a great deal for them to have a vehicle because there's so many events that they have to go to when they reach 16, 17, and then 18 when they're off to college. You know, they have to have their independence to be able to go here. Otherwise, we're just taking our time and toting them all over the place. But that is, I mean, we're always looking for deals on cars.
Boy, we need teleporters, man. Where are the teleporters?
Yeah.
The teleporter devices like in Star Trek.
Or just, you know, I thought about this, Rob, with all this technology going, why doesn't somebody develop like personalized drones that you could just hop in? I mean, these drones are so stable now anyway. They do?
But they're 150, 250,000, and they're all experimental, but yes, they have them.
And we'd probably be killing one another all the time trying to fly a drone with ourselves in it.
Just imagine looking up and
and hearing those things too. All right, the last thing I wanted to bring to your attention, Rob, I always like to give a list.
Okay.
This is a list, and the title of the list is It's All a Scam. Things that got a ridiculous amount of hype, but ended up being a huge letdown. All right? So these are things that got a ridiculous amount of hype, but ended up being a huge letdown. See if you can think of some. Number 1 on the list, and these are in no particular order, is shopping on Black Friday. Did you ever participate in that? This part says most Black Friday deals now are products manufactured specifically for the sale with widely high MSRP compared to their comparable counterparts so that they purposely can be marked down 50 to 70% to their true relative market value. It's all a scam.
Yeah, it's a big scam. I miss it. It was fun. I went a couple of times. It was actually kind of fun to go through all those crowds, and we were more people watching like, look at that guy. He's so upset because he didn't get that TV. and like the guy could go on Amazon and get it for actually $50 cheaper.
Yeah, same thing. All right, another one, subscription TV. I want to watch everything, and originally with no ads. Now you're suddenly up to $200 a month and still watching ads. As a younger individual, I think cable is better. I remember the days of cutting the cord, and we did. We switched, and now, like this article says, they're going to get their money one way or the other.
Yeah, that kid whatever kid wrote that doesn't know what he's talking about, because see, when he said cutting the cord, he thinks of going to internet TV.
Mm-hmm.
He does not know what it was like to have an antenna on the side of your house. And if you were poor folk like us,
yeah, exactly.
we didn't have the cool little motor. You know, some people have the motor that turned the antenna. We'd go out and literally grab the pole and twist it so the antenna would pick up better.
Yeah, and by the way, there's still a lot of people out there, especially in our area, that are big proponents on antenna TV, especially with the way HD TV works nowadays.
Yeah.
There is a lot of programming you can get for absolutely free if you get a antenna that picks up HD channels. That's what I hear anyway. I don't have that, but
and there's hundreds of open source TV channels on satellite TV.
Yeah,
and you can buy these receivers, and then you buy a bigger dish, and you can pick up several hundred channels for free. But a lot of them are just junk channels.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed too. Because like you buy one of these TVs, and they have free channels, and you go down there, and then you say, "Who's watching this?" You know, because it's mainly commercials after commercials after commercials, and then just nonsensical stuff. But there you go. That's some. These are things that are get a ridiculous amount of hype, but end up being a huge letdown. Now, subscription TV is one of them. Another person wrote 0 added sugar labels, and they wrote all products that contain artificial sweeteners should have it printed big and bold on the front of the label. Another one, designer anything. Mm-hmm. I never understood the draw of buying a name rather than a product. Think about that. Was there something in high school that you just, we think about high school because when we're younger, we're all drawn to those popular, we want to be the popular kid. We want that name brand item. Remember Guess jeans?
Yes.
Okay, that was what. What about the members only jacket? Do you remember that, or was that before your time?
But do you remember Marthe Francois Jabot?
No, I don't.
Everybody wanted Jabots, man.
Oh yeah,
I wanted Jabots so bad.
I think I do.
Yeah.
And then the back. This is way probably before your time. The parachute pants and all of that.
Man.
Those things were ridiculous.
Instead of Jabot, I got Jordache, and you got Jordache over at Walmart.
Yeah, there you go. Just bringing it back full circle, Rob. Back to Walmart.
Hey, but at least they had this cool little plastic card that was on a chain and it said Jordache, so you kind of felt like you were part of this club.
Yeah, you had to hide it.
I'm wearing. You know what? I don't wear flannel often. I wore one yesterday, and my brother every year gets me these shirts, and I love them.
Yeah.
And guess where the brand is George, and you know where they come from?
Where?
Walmart. And I love these shirts.
Yeah, George. I do have some George. That's nice, Rob. It looks good on you. When you came in this morning, I thought, Rob is going to do some work today. He's got the work shirt on.
That's why I'm wearing it. Yeah,
yeah, because he's been putting up TVs around the church,
tearing up the walls.
You are a man of many functions. You produce a radio show every day. Man. You do Hello Huntsville. You have all these programming things, and then he can hang a TV on the side of a wall with a drill and everything else. Yeah. All right, another thing. These are things that are overhyped but end up being a huge letdown. These are people's opinions, by the way, but Crocs. I had a child in my 2-year-old class wear them, and they were too small. I nearly broke a finger trying to get them on and off of his feet. You have Crocs, Rob? Were you part of the Crocs craze? I think the Crocs craze may be coming to the end.
My son has some. He wears them every day. They're little alligator, and they got this little fins that when he walks, they spin.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I never wore them, and I don't understand the. I don't understand what are Josh knows what they are, like the trinkets they put on them. What is that, Josh? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's just like collectibles, like a collector's item.
Why? See, why? What's the point of that?
Does your child have Crocs or do they have Knocks? Because mine have the knockoff Crocs.
They have Knocks and no socks. That's what they have.
All right, well, here's another one. The resurgence of vinyl, LP, now cost twice as much as CDs, and artists are bleeding their fans dry by offering multiple colored vinyl variations of the same album. Are you a big vinyl fan?
No, I mean, I like records. I have a few, but I never really was.
What about the resurgence, though? Like, I have a ton of records that my dad had back in the day. He loved, like I've said this before, he loved classic country music. So I probably have 50 old records that he had, and that's one thing. But now that the music has all been digitized, these artists are now not only producing their digital music, but also producing it on vinyl. Would you ever buy a vinyl of an artist that you like that's current?
Yeah. There's a good vinyl. There's a record store here in Huntsville in the square that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've went in there and just browsed through stuff before.
That's cool. The old vinyls, I see the value. The new vinyls, now my kids, by the way, many of them, if there's an artist that they like a lot, they will purchase that vinyl just to have the actual something in their hand. You know, you can have digital music, but it's not something you can look at. There's not a book you can read. So just to have something in your hand is why I think a lot of people purchase vinyls.
Wait, my mom used to get mad at me because I scratched up a bunch of hers, and you know how I did it?
How's that?
See, her record player had broke.
You tried to scratch on it. You tried to do some rap music.
No, I figured out that you can put, like a pen, like a sewing pen. That are those really. I found out that you could spin that record, and if you could put that pen on it and put your ear down and listen to the music come out of the pen. So since the record player didn't work right, I thought it'd be a great idea to take Mom's sewing pens and put them on the record and hold them while it spins, and it scratched them all to fire.
I can see how she would be agitated with that, Rob. All right, just a few more. These are things that get a huge amount of hype, but end up being a tremendous letdown. And by the way, send us in your ideas of things that have been hyped tremendously, but are a huge letdown. One person wrote in the latest tech gadgets. Think about that. New phones, smartwatches, or other devices that immediately come out with cool features, and people think they just have to have them. They upgrade to the latest models just because of the hype. It used to be that way with the iPhone. Everybody was waiting. Remember when they would come out with a new edition, and people would just line up around the blocks at the Apple store to get them on that day that they dropped. I think more and more people are beginning to see that there's nothing wrong with the phone that you have.
Yeah, because of the price. That's the thing. And when I was a child, the biggest letdown ever. And I remember going to Montgomery Ward's. You remember Montgomery Ward's? That was the first place we ever got on an escalator. We went to Montgomery Ward's just to ride the escalator because that was a big deal for us.
Yeah.
And upstairs on the second level, they had electronics and video games. And I'll never forget this majestic looking stand, this visor that was red. And it had a controller, and you would put your eyes into it, and you were mesmerized by these 3D red graphics.
There you go.
You know what it was called?
What?
The Virtual Boy. It was after the Game Boy, and this was supposed to be the next biggest thing.
Yeah.
Well, when you played it for 5 seconds at the store, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Once they launched it, kids couldn't play it more than 10 minutes because the glasses, it would give you headaches.
Yeah.
That was a huge flop.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed. Never got one because, these things were like $300 back then.
Yeah.
But they were cool, but highly touted, ended up being a huge bust.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm kind of a sucker for the new tech gadgets, and they usually are like that, a huge letdown. But I always, especially around Christmas time, they're always bringing out some sort of new technology, new tech item, and I was looking for stuff for my kids. Sometimes I'll fall victim to that and get something. And a few years ago, we got some of those VR headsets, and it was cool for about a week, and then they kind of just put them away, and then you never see them again.
Yeah,
it's a huge hype and probably not worth it. The last thing that I want to mention that's mentioned in this article of the things that get a ridiculous amount of hype but end up being a huge letdown. I thought of you when I read this one. It said, somebody wrote in professional sports, all of them. In the last 50 years, it has gone from a casual interest and conversation starter to an expensive personality trait. Not to mention that a grand total of maybe one player on these teams is actual from the city they play for. All the athletes are basically farmed and bred and trained similar to the way racehorses are farmed, bred, and trained. So there you go, Rob. You were involved in all sorts of sports, but I can see how people, with what goes on today in the athletic realm and what we see revolving around so much money, that sports in general has really suffered in the mind of a lot of people. It's a whole lot of hype, and then you hear stories and you hear about these people. And some of them are great stories, and I know sports in general, professional sports in general, is probably more popular now than it ever has been. But along with that comes a lot of things that you just kind of just shake your head at. And we're coming up on the Super Bowl, and you see there's great storylines and individuals that worked hard and made their way, and they're great success stories, and you hear those. But alongside of those, you hear a lot of things about, so much of what happens in professional sports is just all about the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's changed, man. Well, that's a good list on news you can use.
There you go.
One final bit of news that you can definitely use. How about my Spurs?
There you go. See, bringing it back to sports right here at the end of the program. Rob is, the biggest San Antonio Spurs fan that I know of, and man, this year it's looking up. Now they have a great opponent to face eventually, which would be those Oklahoma City Thunder. They haven't gone anywhere, and it doesn't look like they're going anywhere soon.
Yeah, they beat the Thunder this year 3-1. They were going to sweep them, but they lost the last one. Then a few nights ago, they lost to the Houston Rockets.
Houston Rockets aren't bad either.
But last night, on the birthday gift to Alan Barnes, and Tyler Fordyce and Caleb went down to Houston expecting big things. And at halftime, it was looking good. I sent Tyler a message. I said, man, the Spurs are losing. This is garbage. Then I fell asleep.
Resurgence.
I woke up this morning, and what did the San Antonio Spurs media say, social media? Happy Wednesday.
Oh, man.
And I reposted it. The Spurs were victorious. They beat the Rockets, and there you go. And what about those Texans? A tough break. I was rooting for them after the Cowboys obviously never got in again. So I was rooting for the Texans. Highly disappointed that Houston did not make it. And the Super Bowl, I don't know if I'm really excited about it. Seattle and New England.
I'm definitely not excited about it. But let me just say something really quick about that. This is a personal opinion about this, because I watched a lot of, with the weather the way it was, I watched a lot of football. And I know this is just my own personal thought, but I know the weather when you're watching a football game is cool. You turn on the game, and there they are. And, they're fighting it out, and it's very nostalgic of the games of old. They're fighting it out in the snow and the ice and the wind and the rain and whatever else may come their way. But think about it just for a minute, because as the season progresses, the best weather for outdoor stadiums is at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. The worst weather is at the end of the season. Some of these games, although they were very entertaining to watch, I will admit that, but were determined more by the weather than they were the skill of the players. Mm-hmm. I think that really bit the Houston Texans this year, because they have a great team and they had a great defense and they had a lot of potential. But the weather really affected that game that they played and lost. And a lot of these games that you watch, and I'm thinking, when does the point come where these very important games in the playoffs are played in an environment where it's not determined, the outcome is not determined solely by the weather. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that Denver game was a great example. I don't know if you watched that, but when Denver played, at the beginning of the game, the weather was clear. But as the game progressed in the second half, the weather got progressively worse. And you can see the effect of that on the players. You wait all year for these playoff games, and then a snowstorm rolls in, and the whole game plan is totally scrapped, and they just have to run the ball all game, or they have to run the quarterback, whatever, because everything that they worked for all season, they can't use it anymore because the weather determines what kind of plays they can run.
Yeah, I feel so bad for those guys making millions. It's just so bad for them.
There you go. It's overhyped, under-delivered.
Yeah. Well, hey, two final things real quick. I want to remind folks the Hearts Veterans Museum is having their grand reopening tomorrow at 11 a.m. VFW Post will be out there serving hot dogs until they run out. So go and be a part of that. They had that water damage, had a flood there and had to redo everything in the museum. So I wanted to get that word out. I'm going to definitely try to be there. So again, tomorrow, 11 a.m. grand reopening. And then on Sunday, our new series continues with Family Matters. Weren't able to have service on Sunday. We just wanted folks to be safe. We encourage people, although we didn't have service, we encourage people at home just to gather and pray as a family. We actually held Sunday school with my children. I had Sunday school with them on. It was a neat experience. And I'm looking forward, though, to being back here live and in person for Family Matters. Let the people know kind of what you've been talking about, Jason, and what they can expect. We want them to come.
Absolutely. We want everyone to come. I think these things that we're talking about throughout this series affects everybody. No matter whether your marriage is strong and your family, you're at a point in your life where you look and say, man, I'm so thankful to where my family is. The reality is we're all going to go through those valleys of life. We're all going to go through those struggles, and the time to prepare for those is now. Or if you're in that valley right now, it's a message of hope and a message from the Scripture of what family is all about. Last Sunday, not this past one, but the one before, we talked about the origin of the family in Genesis. Well, it wasn't too long after the origin of the family that you see sin entered in, and which led to a messed up family. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday. I'm using the acronym MESSED UP to discuss the things that come into a family that really divide so that we can understand why these things happen. Excuse me. So I think it's important to see how that progress, or that not progress, the opposite of progress, the devaluation of the family occurs, how it disintegrates, how the enemy works to divide us and to draw us apart in shame and blame, like we see occurring in Genesis chapter 3. So we'll be discussing Genesis chapter 3. And if you have a messed up family, this is the place for you. Because the reality is we all deal with brokenness in our homes. Every one of us. And there's nobody that's not immune to the brokenness that the enemy throws. But how do you approach it when the wheels fall off? What do you do? Where do you turn? This Sunday, we're going to be talking out of Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to see the redemptive plan that God has placed in the path of his people to come to the realization that, yes, we need him. We need his grace. We need his redemption. Come this Sunday and be a part of messed up families.
10:45, come and be at. Sorry, this is the way you said it. It's a serious thing, but it's like messed up. I was like,
no,
hey,
it's
man,
true.
we're all messed up. We need to be here. So
it is absolutely true. And the more the quicker that we can admit that, the quicker we can get the help we need. I mean, if you're messed up, which we all are, this is the place for you. The church is a hospital for the hurting. It's where we come to find help. And that's what we're going to receive through the word on Sunday.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you, my friend. Pastor Jason Bay here, First Baptist Church. I want to remind you, too, tune in tonight as we continue our Call to Kneel prayer show. Many of you last week, we had about 18 people send in prayers on Facebook and through email. And so I came on the show. I did it solo, and I said, it'll probably be less than an hour. I ended up being on for an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
And that was just the Lord working, and we were praying. And so tonight, join us again, a time of testimony and prayer. That show live tonight, A Call to Kneel at 8 o'clock on Spirit Radio. We'll also have it here on the social media feeds. Well, for Jason Bay and Josh Mashi, I'm Rob Pipp, reminding you that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please, provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there needs you. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. I think I have a guest on tomorrow, too. That guest is How about Carla Christian? Oh, chili at the lodge. We're talking chili tomorrow. So come and be a part of it. Love you, Huntsville. God bless you. Have a great day. See you, Jason.
All right.